What's up, y'all? Jimmy coming you guys with another video. Before we get into the video, as always, make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. And when you guys hit subscribe, please make sure you guys are hitting the notification button. So getting right into the video, today I will be reviewing a pair of Air Jordan 6s. These are the electric green versions that came out on, I believe it was like June 5th of 2021. So about 2 to 3 weeks ago, I got my hands on a pair for retail, even though they're basically going for retail right now. So if you guys are interested in a pair, you guys can go to StockX, find them locally, and basically pay retail plus tax, so it's not too bad at all. The shoe is very simple. It's basically the same color blocking as the infrared 6s, varsity red 6s, depending on what year you have. Those two are kind of interchangeable, even though they're not. Hold up real quick, there is a roach I need to kill. But another shoe that has this type of color blocking is the infrared 6s, like I said, varsity red 6s. You know, there's also the white pair of the infrared 6s, and then also I believe the DMPs might have the same type of color blocking. I'm not sure if that gold on the bottom is the exact same, but very simple shoe, very hard to mess up. I will say this is a very different colorway from Jordan Brand. I'll maybe think about this shoe like, you know, if we were in maybe 2010 to 2012, I definitely would have thought this shoe was a shoe that you picked up at the flea market, a shoe that you picked up on one of those fake Jordan sites. But you know, here we are in 2021. Jordan Brand is giving us whole different colorways we would have thought that I would ever see before. And if you guys didn't know, these shoes are actually very similar to a shoe that has actually already came out. And I will say those shoes came out, but not for the general public. They were actually, I believe they were Oregon exclusive for the basketball team, if I'm not mistaken. But those shoes, the color blocking is identical, but I'm pretty sure the quality on those is probably top notch, superb. Typically for those player exclusives, you know, the shoe itself is not made for the general public. So Jordan Brand is going to use the best qualities, the best stitching, best details, because on that shoe, you know, I'll post a picture of them like maybe somewhere on the screen, but the color blocking is the same, minus a couple of color details here and there. But there's like, I believe there's like an Oregon on the side of the shoe that's in 3M, and a couple other details that are very nice. But nonetheless, if you don't have $5,000 to spend on those, you guys can pick these up for $190, $200, depending on where you're at, and basically get the same shoe. And getting right into the review, the shoes come with your traditional Air Jordan 6 box. And when I say traditional, I believe the OG pairs came out in a box like this, but as of like the Carmines that came out in like 2014, Jordan Brand started using this box here. I will say the one thing I noticed, I mean, I haven't picked up the DMPs or the Dornbachers that came out this year, but I have noticed that they are using a different sizing tag for the Air Jordan 6s. But basically getting down to the tag, reads Air Jordan 6 retro, colors are black and electric green. These are a size 8, and if you guys have never owned a pair of 6s, I would say go true to size, or honestly even half a size down. In my opinion, 6s always feel in my opinion, I feel like 6 have always ran a little bit big, so that's something to consider if you don't like your shoes looking too big. And then when you move on to MSRP, retail on these is $190, and in Texas with tax it comes out to be about $210, $220 or so, I believe. So tax definitely brings it past that $200 price point. And whether I think these are the price point or not, I'll leave that at the very end. But you know, I'll go through the shoe first, tell you guys my thoughts and opinions, and then we'll get to the final verdict. And finally, here are the shoes. Like I said, you guys, very, very simple and clean shoe, you know, depending if you're really digging this color or not. But essentially it's like an infrared 6, right? And we know how iconic those shoes are. But getting to the smaller details, you know, just starting with the outsole, you have your traditional Air Jordan 6 outsole. Your Jumpman is in that electric green. And the one thing I will say about these icy soles here is they're not icy blue, they're not even like clear. They're almost kind of like gummy in a sense, like they're translucent. They seem kind of aged. Like I don't know how to really explain these icy soles, but I believe this is how the soles might have came out in like 01 to like maybe 04, I want to say. But yeah, I think this color actually looks pretty good with this. If it was an icy blue sole with that electric green, I think it would look a little bit off. And another thing to mention, a part of the midsole is the air unit. This is something that quite often gets overlooked. Jordan Brand decides to go with a white air unit, which I think looks clean, but I think it would have also been kind of like a cool pop of color if they did choose to go with an electric green air unit. And then when you move on to your midsole, this is where a majority of the electric green comes from. Like I said, this is your very traditional infrared color blocking, wraps on the other side as well. Here you have a hit of electric green. And like I said, this is a shoe that, you know, if you would have shown most people back in the day, Jordan Brand would have never released anything like this. And maybe you could say they're running out of ideas, but in my opinion, I think they're just, you know, maybe giving people a little bit more of a different taste than what they're used to, because Jordan Brand could easily just constantly retro the same colors over and over. But, you know, why not switch it up and give the mass consumers, the people, a different colorway? Because although this isn't for everyone, I could see a couple people actually enjoying the shoe. And then when you go into the uppers, you have an upper that is completely made out of nubuck. I'm like 99.9% sure that this isn't suede, just based on how it feels. And the quality itself of the nubuck is not absolutely terrible. It's not the best, and I feel like that's, you know, basically the common trend with a lot of these general release Air Jordans, not even just the 6s. The ones I will say typically do have good quality. The 3s have pretty good qualities, and the 4s as well, but any other number Jordan Brand low-key does kind of disrespect. And again, some of the small details on the shoe, rather than having a Nike Air that has been seen on most of the Air Jordan 6 that came out recently, I believe, but also the reason being is because those are actually OG colorways. This is a new release that has never came out, so Jordan Brand gave this pair a Jumpman in the Air, which I think personally makes sense, because, you know, why put an OG tag on the back if it's not an OG colorway? I know they did that with the Travis Scott 6s that just came out, but, you know, that's besides the fact. That's like a special edition pair. And then when you move on to your pull tab, you have your plastic pull tab, which makes it extremely easy to put on your shoe, because you have the tongue, the pull tab, you just throw your shoes on rather than having to struggle. But you have a hit of electric green right there that pops pretty nice. And then when you move on to the tongue of the shoe, you have a black tongue and the iconic Air Jordan 6 tongue that has basically these two holes, like I mentioned earlier, to help you pull up your shoes. I believe that's what it is intended for. You know, on your, at the very top of your tongue, you have your Air Jordan. And like I had mentioned, there is that Oregon pair. And if you guys do go back to the video and look at the Oregon pair, or just even Google a picture of that Oregon pair, this Air Jordan right here is in that electric green. So something that does make this shoe and that shoe a little bit different. And one of the last things you can't forget on the Air Jordan 6, actually the two last things, is the Jumpman on the very front of the shoe that basically covers a portion of the laces. You know, some people throw their laces over, some people tuck it underneath. I personally would tuck it underneath just so you can show your Jumpman there, but you have your Jumpman in that electric green stitching, and then the infamous lace lock on the Air Jordan 6s. This was the second time that Jordan Brand introduced a lace lock, and it was the last time Jordan Brand had a lace lock on any of their shoes, unless I'm mistaken, and they did it on one of the newer Air Jordans. But that is the shoe, you guys, very simple. And now I'm gonna show you guys an on foot of the shoes. So I hope you guys enjoyed the on foot of these Air Jordan electric green 6s. Like I said, they're not for everyone. You know, not everyone is gonna gravitate towards this electric green. For myself, if you were to ask me, I think these are worth copying? I'll say if you can get them for under retail and you actually really want them, I don't think they're a bad add to the collection. I would rather really just stick with the infrared 6s. You know, if you're really wanting that bright pop of color, infrared is going to do the job, because that's almost like a hot pink. But this could be a good alternative to that if you aren't just wanting the infrared 6s and you just love the color blocking, the 6s in general. I think these are a dope shoe. And let me know what you guys think about the shoes down below in the comments. Are they a cop or a drop? And it's going to wrap up the video, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.